You know what it is? We close to being on time today. Really close. I am not. I wish I could take credit for it. Because this time is our guest. You know, our guest is here. We got a very special guest. We're gonna help y'all learn how to get some of this money in real estate. All right. This is going to be a very exciting episode. Episode 71. Let's get it in. Yo, all right. Listen, we close to on time today. We're not on time, but you know, it's all about progress, not perfection. You know, it's just progress. We want to keep getting better every day. And that's what this whole fucking podcast is about, bro. It's the Victory Talk podcast, the only podcast that I'm aware of that's all about helping you build your money, muscle, and mindset. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Carter, King Keto, Gymnasium Jesus, Jesus de Gimnasio, and and this episode is going to be really great. I know it's going to be amazing because we're going to talk about a subject that I actually don't know a lot about. It's going to be about how to make money in real estate, and I'm going to be learning right here with y'all with an expert. Before I introduce our expert, first of all, we have to acknowledge our sponsor. Nima, we got a sponsor this episode.
It took 71
episodes. Yeah, man, it's nice.
Finally.
Yeah. All right. So this week's sponsor is what the fuck? Big Money Methods. All right. It's the free newsletter. It's going to show you all about how to get money online. It's 100% free. Ain't selling you nothing, just free value on how to get money, man. You got to subscribe now, and I'm writing articles on the motherfucker too, which is good because listen, man, y'all been watching my videos for mad long. I have never had a script. This shit is off the fucking dome, man. So imagine how good this shit can be when I have time to articulate myself better in a different medium, the written word. And that's why we have editors. Well, y'all see me right before an army of editors who can decode the dyslexia and make it something legible for you so you can get some more money. And of course, we had to bring back an old sponsor, Thot Repellent. This episode is also sponsored by Thot Repellent. Right? Listen, man. Here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to join the Victory Unit Discord, get all the free game. I got free courses in there. You're going to join. You're going to subscribe to Big Money Methods and be getting weekly tips on how to make money. Eventually, you're going to be out here balling and shot calling. And then what's going to happen? These hoes going to be all over you, man. They're going to be trying to fucking siphon money out of your wallet by any means necessary. They might be trying to get pregnant on purpose. They might be trying to say you did something foul to them. You know what I'm saying? To extort you for money. You know, they may just wreck your life, man. These bitches is crazy, man. You know what it is. All of them, including your mom and your sister. So that's why we put together this product, Thot Repellent. If you apply this to your skin, it'll keep 12 thoughts away for at least 24 hours. Now, we've been working on it. We've been in the lab.
Brandon, there was some good news, actually.
Oh, please tell me.
Yeah, from trials we started last month, we just got some data that we are close to 48 hours now.
48 hours.
Yes, thanks to all of the.
Okay, man. So we can keep thoughts away from 48 hours.
Yes.
As I understand, you can apply it directly to your skin or clothing or a perimeter around your house. Right? This way the thoughts, they can't enter. Now, we've been working on a way to get it so like the good women can pass through. So it's almost like thought detection. So you guys want to be careful wearing this around your family in the holidays because you probably got some hoes in your family. They're going to go into convulsions. You're going to have to call the ambulance. Like, oh shit, why What's happened to mom? And and you won't be able to say nothing. Fuck, I shouldn't have worn the thought repellent around my mom. You didn't even know she was getting down like that, man. You've been gone for too long. All right. And that's why we put together this product. Now, here's the thing, bro. There are some side effects. And nothing major, but the FDA says we have to tell you about the side effects. So side effects include, but are not limited to, Puerto Rican credit score, kung fu vomit, saber-tooth semen, Gaza Strip poker, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and P. Diddy parties. All right. All right. Now that we got that out the way, listen, it's time to talk. It's time to talk about getting this money as usual. Now, listen, y'all know that I'm proficient in stock investing. You know, I've been helping y'all make money in the market for mad long, helping y'all make money in business, but I have never bought real estate. Not one piece of real estate in my whole life. And I want to get into it. I'm ready to diversify my portfolio. So my boy, Jeremy, he's been on the Jeremy Hayes, one of my best friends, right? He was telling me about this guy who's like a master of a certain kind of real estate investing, Section 8 real estate investing. And we're going to get into what that means. So I started looking this guy up online. This motherfucker's flexing on me, right? Like, you know, listen, I'm out here balling. You see in this shit, you know, I'm buying. Every time you see me, I got like $250,000 worth of jewelry on and shit. Like, I'm doing very well for myself. This motherfucker got boats and shit. This motherfucker got like 8 Rolls. I seen this motherfucker order 4 Rolls Royces at once. I never seen no shit like that. Like outside of a rap video, you know what I'm saying? Where that's like make believe, you know, but this motherfucker's really doing it, man. And he's doing it all off that Section 8. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring to you my new real estate mentor, Tom Cruz, not the actor, the real estate guy. What up, man? I'm doing fantastic, man. Great to be here, man. All right, man. So listen. You got a lot of money, man. You doing really? How many Rolls Royces did? Was that 4, right? 4?
I bought 4 Rolls Royces.
4 Rolls Royces.
That's in 2 weeks.
They come in 2 weeks, and that's on top of the what? The Cullens. I think you got to talk closer to the mic.
Sorry,
Tom.
man.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man. You can do what you want when you popping. You know what I'm saying?
I don't go on podcasts often.
Nah, it's cool, man. And you already got the fucking
I have
McLaren
a Phantom and a Dawn right now.
Oh shit!
And also
man.
Lambo.
Let's give this man a round of applause. Listen, you gonna need some of this, man. You gonna need you some of that, man. Put that in your pocket.
I never heard of it, but I gotta get some.
Listen, well, we developed it for you.
Oh, okay, I appreciate it.
Yes, for the ballers and shot callers, man.
There you go.
And so, how'd you get into? Okay, first of all, let's talk about the kind of real estate you invest in. Specific time. Can you tell me more about Section 8 real estate?
Yeah, so I do Section 8 low-income housing. So what that means is I buy vacant properties and I put tenants in there, and the federal government pays the tenants rent for them. It's designed to, help people that are low income on Social Security.
You got to get closer to the mic. I'm sorry, bro.
Sorry,
you got to get up on that motherfucker, man.
There we go.
Do we need to adjust this for you?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Nah, it's cool.
Normally I have like the one on the clip, so I'll just
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Is
Sorry.
that better?
Yes.
Okay. So as I said before, I buy vacant properties that I then put tenants in, and the federal government pays the rent for the tenant on a monthly basis. So the rent is guaranteed every single month.
It's guaranteed.
So during like the pandemic, during COVID, everything was going crazy. People were getting laid off and fired. Yeah. Didn't matter because the government still paid me all through 2020, 2021. That's a big advantage to it.
Really?
Yeah,
so are these like, crackheads or crack dealers?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that you don't want in your properties on Section 8. That's why we screen them really aggressively. You need to make sure that there's no, they haven't been evicted previously, things like that.
How do you get evicted on Section 8?
If you break the lease. If you have dogs in there, if you have people that live there that shouldn't be living there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's not just not paying the rent. So we check for all that. We do inspections on their current property even to make sure that they're, going to be a good fit.
So are these like properties designated Section 8 properties, or you just
Yeah, no. So any property can be Section 8.
Really?
So yeah, it's just like an airplane's an airplane until the president steps on, then it's 747. Exact same way. Any property can be a property until a Section 8 tenant moves in. So we typically obviously prefer cheaper properties, $60,000 to $80,000. It's a cheaper mortgage, and then you can cash flow a whole lot more. That's the beautiful part about it. Because if I buy a property for 60 grand, you're not going to pay $1,500 a month to live there, right?
Right.
More than likely. The government will, because it's based on the bedroom count. They only care how many bedrooms the property has in the location. So that's where the arbitrage opportunity occurs with Section 8. So I can buy a house for 60 grand, have a $400 mortgage on it, and then rent it out for $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 a month.
Oh, and the government pays.
The government pays
as long as you got this person in there.
As long as the tenant's living there. And tenants stay there forever. They don't move.
Really?
They're not moving for jobs. They're not moving for schooling. They're not moving for any reason. They stay there.
Once you own Section 8, you own it, huh?
Yeah. So I accidentally got into it. You know, one of the first properties that I bought that was lower income, it was rented for $1,350, and I bought the house for like 50 grand. So the day that I closed on it, I was like, the landlord, the previous owner was, hey, we need to switch you over to direct deposits through Section 8. I was like, what do you mean Section 8? I had no idea what it was at the time. He's like, how do you think I'm getting this much rent on this shit box? And I was like, oh man, okay. So he moved me over. The tenant happened to be disabled, so Section 8 was paying 100% of her rent. Really? And I kind of got hooked. I was like, man, I have that $1,350 every single month. I don't have to go chasing for it, because I had like 20 properties at the time. Yeah. And we had to go. My property manager was, calling people the first of every month.
Where's the money, man?
Exactly.
Where's the money?
So if anyone's ever rented a house, the hardest part of a rental is collecting the rents every month.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I never got into real estate. Exactly. It seems like it's way more work than some other investment.
And if you manage it yourself, it's a huge headache. If you have the wrong tenants, it's a huge headache. If you buy the wrong property. So that's kind of what I go over as well.
So you mitigated some of the headache by getting Section 8 people.
Yeah, that takes away the biggest part.
Now, I'd imagine these homes are in the fucking hood. You know what I'm
they're in C and D class neighborhoods. I mean, we're not buying in war zones. So I'm not buying in the middle of Detroit or Baltimore. Or because the problem there is, you can get really cheap houses, but tenants don't stay.
Yeah,
and every time
they
die.
They overdose.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't want that, because then you have a turnover, and then you have to clean the house, get it all ready. So
it's like that part of Pulp Fiction where they had to call.
And that did happen. When I was learning, I was doing a lot of trial and error, man. I had people that I was like, oh, this is a really cheap property. Didn't really do any research on the crime. People would be selling drugs out of the property. I had one guy pass out drunk with a cigarette in his mouth and burn himself alive, burnt the whole house around him. Yeah. So I've had some crazy stories. So it just took a lot of trial and error to figure out, okay, this is the formula for a really good tenant in a really good property and how to manage them correctly.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Listen, if y'all haven't already, like we got his Instagram and stuff. Y'all follow this man on Instagram. This shit is popping. And listen, because I'm learning how to do this. I'm learning to stay working for him. We're doing, you got the link. You say we're doing Tom's doing a class of free training where he's gonna be teaching all of us. Y'all gonna come with me on this journey, if you want, right, to learn how to, fucking buy these properties and get Section 8 tenants in them. Start getting some of this bread.
There you go.
Yeah. So that link is in the description. Click that, and we're gonna be doing that the Monday after next.
Yeah.
All right. Don't fuck this up, man. Click that link. All right. Now, what would be like the first step somebody would need to take if they wanted to get into real estate the way you teach it, Section 8 real estate?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways around it. Most people have the hardest time with financing, right? Like, where do you get the money? And a big part of what we do for new investors is creative financing. So you're not even using any banks at all. So we're buying properties for between $2,000 and $5,000 as a down payment, and you don't need credit.
$2,000 and $5,000
down as a down payment for the property. Oh shit. And the way we do that is we'll go look for these properties that offer seller financing. What is seller financing? Let's say you own a house and it's been on the market for 90, 120 days. You can't sell it. You're going to be a lot more open to, if I come up to you and say, hey, look, man, I'll give you a full list price on your property. I'll give you $5,000 as a down payment, and I'll pay it off, in X amount of years, because now you can get rid of the property. You don't have a taxable liquidity event, where you would have to pay any taxes that you made on that property in the first year. So there's a lot of advantages to it. And I also have software that shows you all the seller finance deals in the country all at once.
Oh, so you can see
you can see which ones are available.
Oh, because I was as soon as you said that, I was thinking, how are you going to convince someone to do
Yeah.
that?
So there's properties in the descriptions on the MLS. It tells you like, hey, we'll entertain seller financing. And the software also grabs data from like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. So it's not only on market listings on like Zillow and Redfin. We also look off market like on Facebook and other places.
Okay, so you're looking for the seller financing.
That's one option, right?
Okay.
The seller financing. If you have, 10, 20, 30 grand and you have decent credit and you have a W-2 income, then you can go with, a commercial loan, or you can go with traditional financing, but then you're putting 20% down.
Then you're putting 20%
But
down.
on 70 grand, that's only $14,000 down.
Okay.
So there's just two different ways of approaching it, and just different for every person.
Do you still, like, as rich as you are, do you still do seller finance?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If it's available and I can find a property in an area that I'm already in, I have no problem putting $5,000 down on the property.
That's what's up.
Picking it up. Because for me, it's all about unit count. The more properties I have, the more I can diversify that income and make sure that, okay, if 5 properties go vacant in the city, who cares? I have 100 other ones that are occupied. Yeah. So that's a big advantage to it. And I only do single family. I don't do big multifamily apartment complexes.
You only do single family. Tell me more about that. Why is that?
Yeah. So that's probably one of the most common questions I get. I don't do multifamily, because I've done it before, and it's a huge headache. When you're dealing with 24, 36, 100 units, you're dealing with on-site property managers. It's a lot of staff. You're dealing with amenities. You're dealing with tenants that are on the Section 8 program that are all living and not working, and they're all in the same community all together.
No, I know.
So if you ever see, Section 8
I'm
project,
from Chicago.
So project housing, it's just a big community that for the most part does not work well. Even if you have the most well-screened tenants, it just does not work. So
I know.
Single family, it appreciates a lot better. Section 8 pays more on a single family property. The demand, tenants want to live in a house with a backyard and a fenced-in area more than they want to live in an apartment with 200 other people. Let's say you go out and buy 200 apartment units, and I buy 200 single family houses. Well, if I want to go sell 20 houses, I could sell them. They're all 80 grand. There's an endless demand of houses for people wanting $80,000 houses. I can go sell those 20 houses in 3 months. You can't peel off 20 apartment built units in your 200. So that's a big reason why I prefer single family.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense.
And there's a lot more room for appreciation.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So when for single family properties under $100,000, there's always a huge demand for it. So it's even not that sensitive to interest rates. So if you get a $70,000 property, the interest rate could be 4% and your payment's going to be $500, or it can be 8% and your payment's going to be $600. It's a $100 difference. So it really doesn't matter what the interest rate is, especially when you're occupying them with Section 8 tenants, because the rent is so high. You see what I'm saying? So even if the interest rate spikes at 10%, you might not be making $600 a month. You may be making $400 a month, but you're still making money.
Can you charge whatever you want?
No. So Section 8 in the federal government has guidelines per county and bedroom count. So it's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and 4 bedroom. So you can go look up online, hey, I live in, I don't know, Miami-Dade County, and I have a 4-bedroom property, and they'll say, okay, it's going to rent for $3,300. Because obviously Miami-Dade is going to be more expensive than middle of nowhere, Idaho,
Yeah. Okay. Now, so the first thing they would have to do is try and find these seller finance deals, especially if they're starting.
If you're starting out, and that would be the first bet.
And then they can start with as little as
$2,500.
$2,500.
I mean, you can buy with $0 down, but it's much harder to find a seller that's going to accept zero. They always want some skin in the game.
You need some money.
Yeah, $2,500 to $5,000 is a sweet spot to buy your first property.
To buy your first property.
100%.
Okay, all right, that's like attainable for people.
Oh yeah, and that's a big reason why I started off. I mean, I started doing real estate that way was with seller financing, and then I got into using other people's money, which we can get into as well.
Okay, now and then they want to find a single family place,
single family property, and ideally 3 or 4 bedrooms.
3 or 4. Why is that?
The Section 8 pays more.
Oh.
So a 2-bedroom property you can find for 70 grand. A 3-bedroom might be 75 or 72 grand, but the difference in rent could be $300 a month or $4,000 or $5,000 a year.
Okay. And what would be the next step after that?
Yeah. So after you get the property, Section 8 does inspections on it, right?
Okay.
So you need to first find a Section 8 tenant to occupy that property. So let's say that you close on a property for $70,000. You get it closed. The day of closing, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You will let the housing authority know, hey, it's Brandon. I have this property at 123 Main Street. It's ready to be rented, right? They're going to let their tenants know, everybody in the housing authority for that county, know that you have a property available. They're going to start reaching out to you or to your property manager because you don't want to deal with it. Yeah. The property manager is going to say, hey, great, go buy a look at the property. We're going to screen you, make sure that you're, have decent credit, make sure you're not a felon, make sure all, screening reports. And then from that point on, you're going to have a voucher. That voucher is going to say how many bedrooms you qualify for. Because let's say like you're just like a single mom with 4 kids, you have to have a 4-bedroom apartment. You can, or a house. You can't do a 2-bedroom because they require every kid to have a different, room, and
every kid has to have their own room.
It depends on certain age, but they can't have more than a certain amount of kids living with or sleeping with the mom. There's all sorts of like criteria that they have, right? So after a certain age, they have to have their own room, things like that. So once you get that voucher from the tenant that you give me, I go to the housing authority, I submit it to them. They're going to say, hey, Brandon qualifies for $1,500 a month on this 4-bedroom. I'm going to say, great. Okay. I call you up, say, hey, you're qualified. You're good to go. Section 8 will come and do an inspection next. It's free inspection. It takes 1 hour. They come and they make sure that the property is habitable, make sure that there's all the utilities are turned on. It's not trashed. And that's basically it. From once you pass the inspection, tenant moves in, they start paying you.
Oh shit. Okay, so this is like actually attainable for people.
Oh yeah.
It's different than the way I think about real estate. It's like, all right, I need 20% down.
Yeah, and that's what most people think about it, right? And there's thousands of properties in the U.S. that are move-in ready under $100,000.
All right, and how much money could, let's say, with that example you gave, how much money is that person putting in their pocket per month from their property?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to pay property taxes, insurance. We have some maintenance reserves, and then also property management fee. Property management fee is gonna probably be the biggest one. It's 150 or 10% of the rent. Okay. So if the rent in that example is $1,500, they're paying $150 per month.
And this is so the tenant doesn't call you with the toilet breaks.
Yeah, because you don't want them calling you for anything. You just want to
focus on. I exist.
You just want to focus on acquiring property and sending it to the property manager.
Yeah.
So typically, the average cash flow is $500 per month per property.
$500 per month per property.
Correct. That's just net cash flow per month. That's not including the taxable benefits because you get all the benefits from owning property. That's not including the debt pay down because every month that tenant is you're still putting down payments towards your debt.
So the equity you're building.
You're building equity.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of benefits that are happening in the background, and also you're getting appreciation. Yeah. These properties. Imagine you get a property with zero income coming into it, right? $70,000 property, and then you put a tenant in there at $1,500 a month or $16,000 per year in gross income. You've dramatically increased the value of that property. Now do that 10 times in the same city. Now you start seeing some significant appreciation, some significant equity growth, significant cash flow.
So $500 a month for each property.
For each property.
And you know that, and the tenant's probably going to stay there for years.
For years. The only 2 ways that a tenant will move out is if they die or get incarcerated.
Really?
Those are the only 2 ways that tenants move out of
properties.
They stay forever.
Really? They don't like move?
Very rarely. I had tenants from when I started 8 years ago, still living in my properties.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's insane. Yo, that's awesome, man. Listen, guys, if you want to know more about that, click that link. He's doing a free class where he's breaking it down because I'm about to start getting into it. And if y'all want to take this journey with me, hit that button, click that link, sign up. All right. I saw now here's something I seen, Tom.
Okay. What did you see?
You have some of the most controversial Instagram shits and the TikToks that I've ever seen in my life. So I saw this one. So let me show you something. This motherfucker. It was in this big ass yacht. How much is the yacht?
$5 million.
$5 million yacht. It is fucking big, right? And he was like, "Oh shit, we almost hit these people." I guess they ran in front of the boat.
Yeah, so the driver was on a little rental boat, like 20-footer, and he was on his cell phone and just veered right in front of my yacht.
You almost ran him over.
Oh,
right?
We almost hit him. We were like less than 10 feet from hitting him.
Oh shit! And then he documented this.
I was on live. I was on TikTok live. Yeah.
And then in the video, he's like, "Listen, if you guys want to learn how to run over poor people in your $5 million boat, learn my." I've never seen a call to action like that.
That's a call to action, right?
That's one of the best I've ever seen. But you get a lot of smoke on the internet from that content. How do you handle all the criticism? I seen this drive some people crazy. You not give a fuck at all. Like you lean.
No, I haven't. I've been on TikTok for 3 years, man. You can't hurt my feelings. I mean, I've heard it all. The slumlord, the leech, all the stuff. So it's all just more engagement. It's more fun. I enjoy it. I don't like creating boring real estate content. You go on TikTok and it's full of just real estate agents going through and showing houses that no one cares about.
Nerds.
Yeah, it's just I'm not even a licensed agent. That's the crazy part. I just buy proproperties and rent them out. Right.
You're an investor. Who wants to be a fucking agent?
Exactly.
I used to be an agent. Yeah. In New York, I was renting. Helping people rent shit, and I was like,
"There you go." Yeah, no one wants to spend the whole weekends on open houses, right?
Out of that.
Yeah.
All right. So, how did you start? How old were you when you started?
With real estate or like social media?
With real estate.
Oh, real estate. I was 25, 26.
25.
Yeah. So I just graduated college a few years prior. I started wholesaling properties.
What is wholesaling?
Yeah.
Let's get into that because you can do what you talked about before.
But if you have zero money and you want to get started, that's the best way of doing it. Because that's where I was at.
So if you have zero money, you want to get started, wholesaling real estate is the best way.
And I'll give you an example of how that works.
Yeah, please. I'd love it.
So let's say that we find a property that's on the market. It's been on there for hundreds of days or, months. And what I would do is I would offer you, let's say you're selling the property, you can't sell it. And then I would say, hey, look, you're listing it for $70,000. Let me get it for $60,000 and I can go ahead and close in like 30 days. Cash deal. So then I put the property under contract just like I would buying it from you. And then I might say, okay, awesome. Let me go ahead, get everything closed, do my due diligence, do inspections, like everything like normal. I'm probably going to give you $300 or $400 to hold the prop, put it under contract, right? You're gonna have to give some type of deposit to put it under contract. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is go on Facebook Marketplace, go on Craigslist, just market the hell out of the property. And I might find like someone like Alex, right? And I'll say, hey, look, man, I got this awesome property. I have it under contract at $60,000. I'll give it to you for $63,000. Right. So I would assign that contract to him for 63 grand. He'll be the end buyer at 63,000. I have it under contract at 60,000 and I make that $3,000 delta. Does that make sense?
I got it.
So I never actually buy the property.
Yeah.
So he gets a good deal because the market value is probably $70,000. So he gets a $5,000 or $7,000 discount and I make $3 grand.
And he did the work for you with finding the property.
I found the property. I did the work for him. Exactly. Yeah.
You did the work for him.
So it's almost like a finder's fee, right?
Yeah, it's like a finder's fee.
So,
but I imagine for someone like you're so busy, you got so much money, you probably still work with these kind of people.
I buy from them now.
Yeah,
I don't wholesale.
You don't wholesale. You buy from wholesale. That's what I meant.
So they'll come to me every week and say, hey, look, I got these 20 properties in North Carolina. I'll go look at them. And they, of course, have their what's called an assignment fee. That's the fee to send it over to me. And then I'll just go ahead and put them under contract and buy them.
You go to North Carolina?
No, I buy all my properties remotely.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so for the most part, I have a real estate agent there. I'll have a home inspector there. I'll have whoever's necessary in order to buy those properties. And I've streamlined it. I mean, where I'm at right now, I don't even sign my own contracts. My real estate agent has my limited power of attorney. They sign the contracts for me. They send it over to my attorney. He's got my limited power of attorney to close on the property. So I'm not even going to the closings anymore at this point. But that's a little bit further down when you trust your agent. I
know my boy Jeremy. He says he was doing that back where he's from in Ohio. He's got like all that set up. He doesn't go back to Ohio to buy them. All right. Let's go back to the wholesaling.
Sure.
Like how do you find let's say somebody's just starting, they want to figure out how to do wholesaling. Yeah. How do they find these properties?
Yeah. So there's a few different ways. One, I use a software called Deal Machine. Deal Machine is a software that I've been using for a long time when I was doing wholesaling. And what it does is it shows you all the properties that are available. It uses basically like Zillow and it overlays all the properties. And it shows them that if they've been on the market, it shows, what the after repair value, which is a really important metric because you want to know what that property will be worth after you repair it. Because the end user is going to want to know that. If he goes to fix and flip that property, he needs to know what that's going to be, right? Yeah. So I use that. I also drove for dollars. I would go around to just neighborhoods in my city and just take pictures of properties that I really like that look distressed, overgrown lawns, junk cars in the driveway, looking abandoned, because those are going to be the best fixer-uppers that you're going to be able to get the lowest price on. If I found a property that's just completely desolate, I'll go up there. Hey, I'll put it under contract for 50 grand. I'll go to you and say, hey, Brandon, I have this property. I think it's probably worth 120,000 after it's all repaired and renovated and rented. And then you can, get it from me. And I might hit $10,000, $15,000 assignment fee.
Really?
Yeah. Because it just depends on how much room there is, right? How rough the property is, what shape it's in. For when I started, I didn't go for those big hits, right? I wanted that little 2,000 or 3,000, get in and get out. And I would do 3 or 5 of those per month.
How long would it take you to flip the contract?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. So then what eventually started happening, let's say that you were my buyer, right? Then after I get you the first property and you're happy, I add you to my buyer's list. Now after I get 3 or 4 of you guys on there, I go find a property. All I have to do is send a text. Who wants a property first? Yeah. And then it just becomes like I send pictures, I send the if it's under contract, I'll send the address so they don't go and snake it. Right. But and then it then becomes so much easier because you already have the buyers. You're basically just putting the market together.
Okay. And they probably valued you at the time when you were doing that, right? Because it takes a lot of work.
It takes legwork to find the property to put under contract, and then you can get more advanced with it. I started doing Facebook ads. That We Buy Ugly Houses. Yeah, all those guys are just professional wholesaling companies, right? Yeah. So then I put those bandit signs, divorce, death, whatever. We'll buy your house, sight unseen, cash deal. And then I would put those out and then have people reach out to me. I put them under contract and then I would flip them to you.
So you're going to be, okay. this is interesting because the first time I heard about real estate wholesaling is I was about to hire this sales guy.
Yeah.
And we went through the whole thing, and he went through the whole training.
Okay.
And then he had his last interview, and I had a bunch of interview questions. And one thing I asked him, I said, this used to be one of my interview questions. I stopped after this, and he said, I said, if you had to work, but you didn't. No, I said, if you didn't need money, but you had to work,
right,
what would you do? And I don't remember what his answer was, but I do remember we offered him the job the next day, and he said, listen, man, I thought about that question you asked, man. I want to be a real estate wholesaler. I'm like, motherfucker, what is that?
It's a very random career path to be passionate about.
But he was he said that was his fucking mission. And I kept in touch with him because he was a good kid. And he was making money doing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he learned it from you. Maybe he did. No,
I mean it's pretty big. Like there's a lot of people teaching about it and stuff like that. There's a ton of free resources online too. Yeah. It sucks. Do not get it twisted. It's a shitty activity to do.
Yeah.
But it does make money, and if you have limited funds, all it takes is time.
Before you started real estate investing, how much money were you making wholesaling?
So I wholesaled for about 2 years right out of college, and I was probably doing anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 a month. Like I said, $2,000 to $3,000 per deal. I was trying to. My goal was 5 deals per month. Okay. And then what I did was I started reinvesting that into buying properties because my whole goal was to get out of that. Like it sucks going to these distressed houses. A lot of these houses are so bad they'll make you sign a waiver before you walk into it. Really? Oh yeah, they'll be having like ceilings falling down because that's the whole point. You want properties that someone can flip and make money on. So it wasn't a passive income lifestyle, and that was my whole goal. Was to sometimes you got to work to get money for passive. It takes active income to create that passive income. Yeah. And you said something about $300 to get it under contract. So how much if somebody wanted to start wholesaling? Yeah. And let's say they ain't got all they got is time, no money. How much money do they need to be? So it really depends on the seller, right? If you're motivated and like desperate enough, I mean, you could probably offer them $50, or man, you could try doing it $0 to put under contract. But it also depends on the market, and right now interest rates are high. Sellers are getting more desperate, so you might find somebody that'll just say, "Give me $100, give me $50, put it under contract," and they'll give you 3 weeks to close on it. And then the cool thing is, if you don't find a buyer, doesn't matter. Just cancel the contract. You lose your $100, and that's it. Oh, that's it. That's it. You're never forced to buy that property. In every state, you can back out of a deal. Yeah. In the United States, you're never required to buy that property. But it's different in Illinois, though, right? I think in certain parts of Illinois, in Cook County and Chicago, they have like regulations for wholesaling. But that's like the only place. That's the only place that I run into. Yeah. In America, I mean. Yeah. I always just did in North Carolina, so I'm not sure about other states. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. That's pretty dope, man. Listen, you said something just a second ago about interest rates are high, so sellers are motivated. Can you tell me more about that? Yeah. So as interest rates increase, buyers are they're more scared to be buying these properties because the payments are way higher. So sellers might just be more motivated to find creative ways of getting out of their property. So because nobody wants to buy it. No one wants to buy at 8% interest rate, right? Yeah. So that might keep a lot of these sellers to be more open to wholesaling or to seller financing or these other things that I'm talking about. And that's also an advantage for the investor, the Section 8 investor too, right? Because the rents are so high and it's paid for, it's going to cover those extra interest rates. Oh yeah. That's the best thing about Section 8 is Section 8 and the federal government has to incentivize you as the investor to accept their vouchers. Yeah. Because you're now having to deal with an inspection. Yeah, it's only an hour a year. They only do it once a year. But still, the competition is to just rent it in the open market privately and not have to do an inspection, right? Yeah. So where a regular rent on a $60,000 house might be $800, they're paying $1,200 on the same property. $1,100 on the same property. Yeah. That's where the arbitrage comes in. Yeah. Okay, I saw one of your TikTok. Okay. And you said that you had to evict certain demographic. A certain demographic. Yeah. More frequently than others. And you said it was people with iPhones. You never have to evict. Correct. Only Androids. Androids, yeah. Tell me more about that. This is just data, guys. Yeah. We're not trying to make we're not talking shit about Androids. This is just actual data. Real data. So what we ended up doing is I was always trying to figure out how to reduce cash for keys and evictions. If you don't know what cash for keys
no,
is,
what's that? It's
if you have a tenant that's having problems, they're not paying their rent, whatever the reason. Because sometimes Section 8, they will have a portion of the rent. So if the government's paying $1,400 in total rent, the tenant might have to pay $100 out of that $1,400, right? Yeah. So if they stop paying it for 3 months, they're open to getting kicked out.
Oh, wow.
It just depends on if you want to get rid of them and have a vacancy. But and also cash for keys is, so in order to avoid that eviction and having to go through that whole process with the state or the county, we'll just say, hey, look, here's $500, get out of the property, leave it clean, and give us the keys. So we literally do cash for keys. So I was just trying to determine how to get that down to 0, right? How to be able to just have using data and metrics, how to do that. So I was just like, man, there's got to be some commonality, some like lowest common denominator between all these people. And then actually one of my property managers is like, look, man, I've gone back through my text and all these green bubble motherfuckers get evicted at scale. Like, I don't remember the last person that I've evicted with a blue bubble. And I was like, dude, let's go back and look at it. So my property managers have conversations with every single tenant through text. So I literally had a spreadsheet with the phone number and the address and the phone and the name. And sure enough, we went back like a year worth of evictions. We didn't evict one iPhone user.
It's just Android users.
Yeah. Obviously, there's way more Android users.
Yeah, it's way more. There's way more.
Also, there's a lot of Android users with $50 Androids, right? So take that data as you may. So I was like, no, we're just renting to iPhone users. So that's now, if we have an Android user and an iPhone user and they're similar, we're taking the iPhone user.
So you ever since you implemented this policy, so when was that? A year ago, you said?
So we learned about that recently, but we actually implemented it probably this summer. So it was like a few months ago. Yeah,
a few months ago. So it's not. It might not be.
We don't have a ton of data on it.
Not be long enough to make. Okay,
but we haven't evicted a new one.
Haven't evicted no one.
No. We've done some cash for keys. But for actual full blown evictions, no.
So maybe it's not like Android users as a whole. Maybe it's poor Android users where that
I mean, that's what everyone was arguing. They're like, oh, I got my S22 Plus or whatever. Yeah. 23, it costs more than your iPhone. I was like, yeah, but you still got a green bubble.
Still got a green bubble, man. That means you a scoundrel.
That's what the data shows.
It's like, listen, having an Android in itself may not be a bad person, but if you're in Section 8, may not be you're a bad person.
Exactly.
But if you got them both, you a goddamn scoundrel. You're gonna get kicked out of Section 8. You gotta try to get kicked out of Section 8.
You really do.
You gotta work on that. That's like
most of the people that we do kick out aren't even Section 8 people. It's like, let's say I buy a house from you and you already have a tenant in there that's not on Section 8. Well, your lease is probably good for another 3 months, right? 4 months, 5 months. I can't kick you out when I buy the property. I have to wait for your lease to expire. And then if you don't want to get out on your own free will, after I terminate your lease, which a lot of people just won't. They're like, nope, I'm staying. I'll pay month to month. Yeah. Then we have to either evict them, have the sheriff go out there. It's a whole production.
And you don't have to do none of that, right?
Oh no, it's my property manager will go to court. They'll deal with all the removal of the tenant.
Yeah. So like, do these people like having tenants? Do people know that you're the landlord?
When I started in North Carolina, yeah, but I started buying a lot out of state, outside of North Carolina. So they have no idea who I am, and we buy under LLCs, and there's multiple layers. And I have my attorney.
Who do they think owns the place?
Just a faceless
entity.
Faceless entity. Yeah, that's it. And then they just see my property manager, right? So my property manager, he becomes the bad guy because he has to go and file the writ at the courthouse. The sheriff comes 3 weeks later, knocks on the door, kicks them out. They change the locks, and they're on the street.
That's cool because I want to be like 100% anonymous, man. I want the motherfucker going on the internet. Man, Brandon Carter evicted me. Yeah, he's a millionaire, man. I was just 2 months late.
Yeah, for the most part, people won't mention that, and we'll evict on the 6th day. Yeah, we have zero. Like they have a late fee on the 5th day. And then if they don't, we're already, sending them notice.
Kick him out, man.
Kick him out because otherwise
fucking Android.
They'll take advantage of you. I'm surprised you didn't bring up my single mom eviction story.
Oh, please. No, listen. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I just posted a video like a month ago on TikTok. Someone's like, do you evict single moms? And I was like, nobody is safe in my portfolio. The elderly, the single moms, we evict everybody. And the reason is that it's a small community wherever you're buying, Yeah. So and they talk. And all those people that, are on Section 8 in that area, like, oh, yeah, Tom's house or XYZ corporation, they'll let you stay in there for a couple extra months without paying. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now you become the last bill they're concerned about. And we just don't do that. So, and I've gotten to a point now, you may want to do that when you're starting. You may want to give some leniency so you don't have to deal with a vacancy. But I have 709 properties across 4 states.
709?
Yeah. So if you decide not to pay, it's not going to affect me at all. We'll kick you out on the 6th day. You'll be out before the end of the month. And then we'll go ahead and put a new tenant that will pay. Yeah.
All right.
So that's a big. So there was that TikTok went stupid about like 13 million views.
Let me ask you, 35. How many properties again?
709.
How much money are you making a month, man?
Right now, I collect about $950,000 a month in Section 8 rent.
Come on, man. The government gives it to you.
The government, yeah. Majority of that is
tax
federal
dollars.
income. I also rent to nuns in the Catholic Church. I have about 60 properties that I rent to Catholic archdiocese in North Carolina and Florida.
And the nuns.
Nuns.
Yeah. And the government pays for the nuns?
No, the church pays for the nuns, which is the second best thing to the government.
Yeah, man. Listen, Jesus never run out of money.
Yeah,
man.
so I got a 40-unit nunnery in North Carolina. So
oh shit.
Yeah.
You get that holy money.
Yeah, the holy money.
You kick a nun out too, though, man. She starts fucking around.
I gotta get out of here. I had one. I didn't even kick her out. The church kicked her out because she got caught with a guy in the nunnery.
Oh shit!
And they excommunicated her and also kicked her out of the
excommunicado.
Yeah, got rid of her altogether.
She brought a guy in the what?
Into the property.
You said the nunnery.
And the nunnery.
What the fuck is the nunnery?
A nunnery is a complex with all like where nuns live. It's like a convent, but a nunnery.
She was fucking in the nunnery.
I don't know what she was doing, but she was caught with someone of the opposite sex, which was not allowed per their rules. So,
damn, man.
Yeah. So she had to go.
One thing we know about Catholics is one thing we know about the Catholic Church, man. They don't play that shit.
They don't play any games, but it's cool because with the nunnery, there's no inspections, and the money's guaranteed.
Yeah,
and I messed with them because when we were negotiating on buying the properties for them, because they don't like to manage their own properties. They like other people to buy them, and then they just rent on a long-term lease. It's kind of like a commercial deal, right? And one of my contingencies in the contract was that I had to watch Sisters Act 2 with some of the nuns before closing, and they didn't accept it. So. I just thought it would be funny, be great content, because they were going to house like 100+ nuns in there. It was two per room or per unit.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, dude, let me rent out a movie theater and get some nuns in there to watch Sisters Act 2.
A whole bunch of nuns. Yeah.
But they didn't.
They wasn't feeling that.
No, they declined that. So I still bought it though. But then I jacked up the rent 6 months later.
Yeah, man, charge them, man.
I know
they got bread. Man.
Oh, they got so much money.
You ever been to the Vatican? I've
never
balling.
Yeah.
They balling, man. You think you balling?
Oh no, that's a different level.
That's another level, man. They don't even pay taxes. You know what I'm saying?
They got to figure it out.
They got this shit figured out, man. They just got us. I'm a chill. I'm a chill. Yeah. I was about to make some jokes, man. There was a back when I lived in New York, man. It was like this like Catholic church. It was close, and it was like, oh, free swimming lessons for children. My son was like, nope, not there. No fucking way. Y'all stay away from. Anyway, let's get serious. I think we got some super chats.
Cool. There's super chat.
I don't know if there are any for him or I don't know what they are, man. I don't know what these guys are talking about.
They're more general.
Right.
We have Gabriel. Hey, Brandon. Previously, you talked about how hard it was for you to appear more happy and energetic towards people. How did you approach making that change? Thanks a bunch.
Oh, he's talking about Thomas. Back in the day, I used to be a little rough around the edges, man. Sometimes I would fuck people up for no reason and shit. Not for no reason, but like I didn't need to. I was like, I'd be like, damn, I didn't have to fuck that person up, man. I went to therapy and all types of shit, like for real. But you might not be talking about nothing as drastic as me. I grew up in a neighborhood where you were incentivized to react swiftly and violently, and I had to kind of just train myself out of that behavior. Don't get it fucked up. Don't go around testing me, motherfuckers. I legit went to therapy. What else we got? What's another one? And if you got any questions for Thomas, man, let us know. You go by Tom Cruz?
I go by Tom, yeah.
Tom?
Yeah.
I like it, man. What's up? What we got?
We have S. Low.
What up?
I want a ball like you, Brandon. How much is your HTT program to get started?
Oh, high ticket training. That's what we teach people how to build their online fitness business. Listen, go ahead. Here's what I want you to do, man. Just hit me on Instagram. Talk about it. We'll talk about it, man. See what we can do for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for that $5 though. All your super chats go towards research and development for Thot repellent. We're trying our best to get the side effects down to a manageable level. All right, how much? Tell me more about Section 8. How much does somebody have to make to qualify for Section 8?
Like as a tenant or as the
as a tenant?
They have to be at the poverty line or below, which it varies county by county.
Oh, it's by the county.
Yeah. So like in Miami, it's going to be way different than it is in North Carolina because everyone's poverty lines at different levels, right?
Okay.
And it also depends if you're like married, if you're going in with like a significant other, depends on how many dependents you have. So it's also kind of like a vicious cycle because when we're screening tenants, we're looking for tenants in the worst possible financial situation because the worse off they are, the more the federal government will help them. So the whole goal is to have as much of their rent paid for by Section 8 as possible because you don't want to accept you as a Section 8 tenant for $1,500 and you're working at McDonald's making $2,000 a month and now they're only paying $600 out of the $1,500. You know, now you're stuck with paying the difference, and then we don't want to have to collect rent. So we always try to do it less than $100 per month as the tenant portion.
Less than what?
$100 per month.
Less than $100.
Yeah. So if you stop paying your $100, we really don't care.
It won't bother. It won't
bother. Yeah. I mean, we'll care after a few months. Yeah. But we can have some leniency for the first couple months.
Okay, so you do have some leniency.
Yeah. If it's a small portion like that.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If we kick out a tenant and their portion is $19 per month, now we're gonna have to spend $1,000 or $2,000 cleaning the place, you know, and it's just not worth it. Yeah. But when I was talking about removing tenants like that, I was talking about if we inherited them and they had a much higher percentage of rent. Sometimes that happens.
Got it. All right. Yo, listen, guys, if y'all want to learn more about this, make sure you hit that link because you know I'm about to start getting into this in 2024. That's my New Year's resolution.
You're gonna buy a shitload of properties.
I'm gonna buy a bunch of properties, man. You know what I'm saying? And get some fucking
You're gonna hurt a lot
borderline of homeless people in there.
No, you don't want homeless people because then they're crazy and there's a lot of mental illness. No, we don't want homeless people. We want like the working poor is ideal.
The working poor.
There you go.
Yeah, so that like these motherfuckers work at like
they want part-time jobs with multiple dependents, ideally disabled or on Social Security. Elderly is ideal.
The elderly is ideal.
Yeah, between 68 and 75, it's ideal because then you got a good 10 years left in them. But I mean, seriously. Yeah. And also, they don't have parties. They don't bring dogs into the house. They
ideal. They don't.
So that's mean. If I could choose a perfect tenant, Social Security recipient, 71 years old. No dependents just because they're on disability or on Social Security. The government will be helping them a lot. So you have very little wear and tear on the house, no pets, and then they'll stay there until they die.
Oh.
And then when they die, you usually get 3 months of rent afterwards because it only counts when the death certificate's issued, and then they're buried. Yeah.
So if you can intercept that death certificate,
then
it's just like you know, free money.
There you go. And we've had that happen. We've had a tenant die and like their daughter just lived in the house and no one knew for it until the inspection period came, and then they're like, because you have to recertify.
Oh, the daughter was living in
it for like 8 months after they died.
Rent free.
Yeah. So
like, you know what?
That's what you want is elderly.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me some stories, like some interesting stories about this shit, man.
So I had this property manager. This is right when I started. She was this like little white girl, like maybe 95 pounds, 5'2", and for one of the first properties I had to go show was in a pretty like rough area. This is before I really understood how to vet the area and crime and stuff. And she was up there and like all like, you know, bubbly. And when she was out there, these, we call them citizens, pulled up in a car and they were conducting business outside of the car. And she was like, fuck, they're about to pull up. Like, we can't see this deal going down in front. So she went, knocked on their window and asked them to move down the next block in order for them to show the property. And sure enough, she ran to the property and that those tenants moved in there. So we had all sorts of crazy stuff, man. Like I said, we've had tenants.
You guys deal drugs across the street?
And they're like, bet. Yeah, no problem. Like, because they were conducting business and they wanted us to conduct business.
But she's doing her thing.
Yeah, so she did that. Like, we've had tenants get like incarcerated and like their dogs were left in the property for like a week. We've had them completely wreck a unit before.
Really?
So that's probably the worst one we've had. We had 3 pit bulls left in the unit after the owner was like, I don't know what she was incarcerated for. And then we only found out because neighbors started complaining. So we had like our property manager go over there and they were just like tearing everything apart. Like they had just shit everywhere. It was awful. We had to pull not only the carpets out, but also the floorboards, pull all those out.
Because the smell
was,
shit. What the dogs have to go to shelters, I'm assuming.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they went to shelters. We had to call.
Or just open the door, man. Let me
No, we called the shelter.
It's Darwin's problem at this point, right?
So I mean, it was days that they were left in there.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So I mean, we see kind of everything. Damn. Fires, a lot of we've had a tenant get pissed off because we were evicting them, and they just burnt down the house. So he got caught because of a Ring doorbell for the house across them. He was over there burning down the front of the house. So he got 10 years, and then we got a full insurance check on it. So
that's good.
That worked out. And then we sold the charred remains to a flipper for 40 grand. So then we made out, and I went and bought 6 more houses with all the money.
Oh man, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
because now he can still the government still pays for his housing for the next 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. He caught us in charge, and I picked up probably
everybody wins.
$130,000.
There's no victims in that story.
Let's do that more often.
Yeah. Guys. And so listen, if you're living in one of Tom's houses, burn it down, man. It's good for everyone. And, all right, I'm sorry. Sorry. What's it like, man? Listen, I make pretty good money.
Okay.
But I don't make $1 million a month passive. What's that like, bro?
I mean, it was definitely a slow. I mean, like I said, I've been doing it for 8 years, so I've just slowly started normalizing to what it feels like. So I mean, right now it feels awesome. But it's not like it was an overnight thing, right? This is not a get rich quick thing. It's a get rich guarantee thing. That's what I tell people.
So it's not a get rich quick thing. It's a get rich guarantee. I like that. Yeah.
And no, I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm really into cars and passionate about cars, so I collect cars. I recently started getting into boating, so I started yachting.
Yeah.
I travel a lot, so it's just cool to be able to take care of everybody in your family. Take care. I mean, I just bought all my family all new BMWs because that's what they all love.
Come on, man.
So so being able to do stuff like that is really cool.
That's really dope. That's really dope. When you fly private all the time?
I don't fly private. I flew private a lot when I was in Europe, just between countries, but I'll just generally fly first class.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Why don't you fly private?
Because I don't need to be anywhere, man.
Yeah.
That's like the big advantage of that. So to pay $10,000 an hour when I can go Delta first class for $2,000, it just doesn't. It never computed for me. I think that if you're like some CEO and you're having to go to be somewhere in order to be in a bunch of places in the same day,
zip and move.
Then obviously it makes sense.
That makes sense.
But for me to get on a private jet just to flex a private jet, it just doesn't.
It seems
compute.
like a little over the top to me, right?
Yeah.
But because one of my boys, he was like, "Yo, man, he wanted to go to Cali." He's like, "Yo, man, I'm about to get the PJ, man. You want?" I was like, "How much?" He was like,
40,000.
40,000.
All day
like,
long.
what? He said, "Yeah, but it's like if we split it, it's 20." I'm like, "Yeah, but
I can round trip it for 3." Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, that's a part of it. And also I've looked into getting into private aviation and getting a jet myself, right? But then I looked at it and I was like, I only go to either Vegas or like the East Coast.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy some G650 to go over to Europe because I don't ever go there, maybe like once a year.
Yeah.
So for me, I have no practical purpose for it. I have no business application. It would simply be a flex. So I couldn't even really write it off because it'd all be personal use, So people only buy private jets
when they can write it off.
Yeah, when you can write it off.
Yeah.
So, and the last thing you want is to get audited and not be able to show business use on it. So, and I get audited every year. So it's just something that we have to make sure.
Have you figured out how to write off your boat?
Yeah, it's a charter vessel. So it's in a charter LLC, my boat. So whenever we have like masterminds, we do it for that. If I have family, friends, investors, they'll come on, we'll charter it to them. So as long as you can justify that and show, the paper trail that it's being used not for personal reasons, but for charter reasons.
You can still use it for personal reasons. No, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's 100% business.
It's all business on that boat.
But I mean, if you happen to be with, investors that are also your friends, and we're talking about, so there's a threshold there. And then of course we also, the fuel, the maintenance, the crew, the insurance, the debt.
How much does it cost a month to manage your fucking big ass yacht?
Yeah, so I would say on a average month, 70,000 per month just to own it.
70,000 a month just to own
that
it.
includes a monthly payment, 20 grand, and then 7,000 a month for insurance. And then I was paying 30,000 a month at the marina that I was at until I bought my new house. And now I kind of cut that expense.
You park that shit right in front of the crib.
In the backyard. Yeah.
That's what's up.
But the crew is expensive. You have 3 crew. Fuel.
3 crew, that means 3 humans?
Yeah.
They live on the boat?
One lives on the boat.
He lives on your boat?
He lives on the boat full time. He takes care of the boat, washes it, waxes it. We also have like scuba divers that come and scrape the bottom of the boat because stuff grows on it. Oh yeah, it's a whole production, dude.
This is incredible.
But I go on it a lot,
Like,
whenever.
What's a lot? Like every day?
I would say like twice a week.
Twice a week.
So I'll go live on there.
That's true.
I'll run mastermind. We're gonna have a mastermind coming up this Saturday.
Oh, on the boat.
On the yacht. So we'll have like yacht masterminds. I have investors come into town all the time, and there's no better place than just to go cruise on the yacht and do a lab.
That's super dope.
So,
and if you're like working with some deal, when you say investors, like you have
partners, people that want to do it, or also people that I'm coaching.
Got you.
So I do a lot of one-on-one coaching as well in person on the yacht. Yeah,
that's dope. And you bring them on the yacht, so it's like that's dope for every. And but if y'all watch, no personally, like they might be your friends, but the friends, if they're not doing business with them, they don't go on the yacht.
Exactly.
Fuck you mean?
Yeah.
Right? No, I get that. And can you write off your cars?
So they are my property management vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
They're all Rolls Royces, and they're all over 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So like my COO has one; he'll be driving one.
Yeah.
I'll drive one. Some of my property managers, they'll have one as well. So it does work out for that as well.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, but tell me more about what it's like to make $1 million a month, man, or close to it. You know?
So I mean, and realistically, for me, between $500,000 and $1 million, there wasn't that much change, right? There's not that much more stuff that I can do. I'm not gonna go, like I said, buy a $60 million jet. You know, just to say I have it. As far as things that I enjoy doing, I don't go out and party all the time, so I'm not spending $100,000 at the club. For me, it's mostly going to be travel. That's cool. Being able to have all the time in the world. I mean, we can just pick up right now. We can go to the airport and go to Vegas. I love to gamble, so I will run it up at the casinos.
What's the most you won and what's the most you lost in a Vegas trip?
For me, it's baccarat, right? So I've probably lost $150,000 at the table. Like in one session, I probably won maybe $90,000 in one session. Oh shit! So I mean, I'm not up there with like millions, but I'm maybe like $1,000 a hand, $500 a hand. So I just enjoy it. It's fun. I also play craps a lot. That's my game. That's what I play when I go. That's what I play. That's the only thing I play. So we'll stay at the Aria or the Cosmo, and I just enjoy playing that. Oh shit, man, we gotta go out there, man. One time, you know what I'm saying? That'll be fun. I like to get it in with the craps, but I usually go with my girl. She don't like. So to play, so the best part about with real estate is I have a lot of friends that have a shitload of money, right? But they're all having to work in order to keep that lifestyle. Yeah. Like I have friends that make $1 million as doctors, but as surgeons and stuff, but they have to work 12 hours a day. And like stuff. I got to work. Right? Exactly. You know so and no bullshit. I work. Yeah. So I really don't. I mean, there's no other way of like not saying that in a douchey way. I really don't work at all. I enjoy teaching, so I might put a few hours of work a week into that. And I have the software that I've been setting up that now is basically passive income for me as well, which is helps people find properties. But besides that, I'm effectively retired at 35. I have everything that I need. My parents have everything they need. My sister has everything they need. So now it's just mostly just reinvesting. I keep buying more properties. I buy 8 to 10 properties per month. 8 to 10. Yeah, that's kind of my goal. My whole focus is just quality now. I do a lot of value out of my current properties that I have. Yeah. Making sure they're all occupied with really high quality tenants, and then maybe sell out at 1,000 units or 1,500 units. Oh, really? Sell out? Just sell out the whole portfolio. You think you sell to like a private equity fund or something? I would actually sell them individually to first-time home buyers because you get so much more money per door. It would take me a couple of years to sell it, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So that's kind of the long plan. Listen, guys, if y'all click that link, man, because this is why I wanted you to be my mentor. There we go. With this shit, with this real estate shit. Yeah. Anytime I go into anything or anytime I want to learn anything, I make sure that I hire a mentor or get with a mentor, someone who can show me, because I don't want to fucking learn all this shit on myself. Yeah, and also there's a lot of mistakes that you can make with Section 8. I mean, the amount of trial and error that I did in my first 2 years, like I have students come to me and they're like, man, why can't I rent this unit out? And they'll have bought like a studio apartment, and you can't rent studio apartments on Section 8. So now this guy's stuck with a $50,000 studio apartment that he can't Section 8 in a Section 8 area. It's like, dude, you're it sucks, but you holding the bag. You don't know what you don't know. Exactly. I don't want to make those mistakes. I always tell people, experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'd rather just fucking learn from an expert as I get into real estate this coming year. And if y'all want to join us with that, man, click that link in the description. He's doing a free class, and I'm gonna be there too. I'm gonna be there taking notes with y'all. It's gonna be dope. Click that link. You said it took 8 years. Yeah. Tell me about the timeline. Yeah. So when I first got started, the big thing for me was I realized very quickly that I couldn't do it myself. Right. I bought those first 10 or 12 units using wholesaling and then reinvesting. Because I started with condos. That's where I started buying properties. And then I was like, man, I can't keep putting $20,000 down per property if I was using a traditional financing. And at the time, I didn't have my software to show me all the seller finance deals in the country. You developed the software? I developed the software recently. This is dope. So back then, when seller finance deals, I might get maybe 2 per month, So I couldn't continue to scale at this pace that I wanted. So my whole goal was in the first year was to build a track record, because I knew if I could get like 5 or 10 properties, I could come to someone like you that was super rich and say, hey, look, man, I have 10 properties. It's generating $14,000 a month in rent, guaranteed. Do you want to bring in 500 grand and let's go buy another 30 or 40, doors?
I would take that deal.
Exactly. I can show you P&Ls. I can show you balance sheets. I can show you verified bank statements showing the direct deposit from Section 8. So now I have the experience, and that's exactly what I did. After about 20 properties, I started reaching out to partners. I go to Cars and Coffee, which is like a car meet. So I met people there that were interest-based and was like, hey, look, let me take you to lunch. Let me just show you what I have going on. And then I would bring them a portfolio of 50 houses that I couldn't afford at the time. And then I'd say, all you have to do is give me $200,000. And then I'll give you a 20% return on this money. And I just need 2 years to do it. You'll get 20% per year. And I'll give you 60% of the monthly cash flow until you recoup your full down payment. Yeah. So
who wouldn't take that deal?
And they're obviously on the LLC with me. So we both own the LLC. We both own the assets. It's secured by the real estate. So there's virtually no risk to the investor. And now what I do is I go in and do my thing. I get my property management team to occupy those 20 houses with Section 8 tenants. And then we'll do a refinance. I'll do a cash out refinance with the bank, pull the equity out, buy you out, and keep all the properties to myself. That's how I ended up with 709 properties with no partners.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because you bought all the partners
I bought all my partners out.
And they were happy.
They were happy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because what kind of percentage did they get? What kind of return did they get on?
Yeah, so it depended on the partner, right?
Yeah.
So some of them were a lot more aggressive and they wanted like 30%. The thing is, it doesn't matter. I'm getting anywhere from 40 to 50% cash on cash return on these properties. Woo. So even if they're getting 20% a year on their 30% a year, amortized over 12 months, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm also building so much value in these properties by putting high value Section 8 tenants in there.
Yeah.
We didn't remodel any house, Brendan. We don't fix, we don't flip.
You don't fix nothing.
No, we buy move-in ready turnkey properties.
Oh shit! So you're not painting?
We're not painting. No. So we might do some cosmetic stuff because Section 8 does require some stuff, but we're never spending more than $3,000 on a property. Okay. Yeah. So what happens next is we then have, let's say, 20 properties that all have Section 8 tenants in them, all paying $1,300 a month. We go to the bank and say we need to do a cash out refinance on this. They're going to say, oh, okay, so these 20 properties were making $5,000 a month. Now they're making $30,000 a month. They take that into consideration when you're doing the refinance. So if we bought those 20 properties for, let's say, $2 million or 1.5 million, that value increases. So I'm able to take the difference in the value increase and what we paid for it to then buy out the partner. So then I keep the property and 100% of the cash flow. Yeah.
You don't get in this because it's a loan, you don't get taxed.
I don't get taxed on it either.
Yeah.
So not only will I do a cash out refinance, I'll pull out enough cash to pay you out, and also a little extra cash for me.
Some shit in your pocket, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And this is all done in like 18 months. I mean, if you buy the property
18 months per property.
No, for the whole portfolio.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. It doesn't take that long to occupy a property, and you can occupy multiple properties all at once. So that's where like most people that are like watching right now thinking like, how the hell am I going to get 20 properties? You don't have to get 20 properties. You need to get like 1 or 2 properties with a seller finance deal, create a track record to prove that you know what you're doing, and then seek out other individuals that want to do the same thing. Do you know how many people there are that are like you that have money but don't have the time?
Bro.
And you can go and say, hey, look, man, I'll give you, 40% of this deal and I'll keep 60% of the cash flow every month. You do all the work. And now they're able to jump in with you and get in with 30, 40, 50 properties.
Yeah, I mean, because like my friends have other shit going on, like fucking private equity funds or little fucking mini hedge funds. And I put money in that shit all the time because they can do it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like if I got deals like this, like if I knew you back then, like I would have been like, it's a
no-brainer. It's not like a startup that's super high risk. It's real estate. Like here's the property, here's how much it makes every month, here are the expenses. Do you want to do it or not? It's very binary.
Got it.
That's how I was able to go from 0 to 709 properties in less than 8 years.
In less than 8 years.
Yeah, because I couldn't have done it without other people, right? I couldn't be putting $2,000 down per every little property. It would have taken me forever to find that many seller finance deals. So seller financing is simply the means to the end.
That's the means to the end.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you recommend me do? Right, like it would, because I got some bread, man.
So, and that's a mistake that a lot of people have is they have a shitload of money like you, and they might even have time to do it like you, but they build too fast and they scale too fast, and then you don't set up the right processes. You don't have your property management team in place. You don't have your contractors in place. You don't have what you need in order to scale quickly. So for you, when we start, I'm going to choose the best city for you. We'll look at kind of the best areas using my software. I'll identify maybe like 5 houses for you. We'll make offers on all 5. It's going to be uncomfortable. We're going to make some offers that are going to piss off some people. It's fine. They'll get over it. We'll put them under contract. I'll help you set up the property management team, that's going to manage them. And then once you get those couple properties occupied and you understand how it works, then we'll go out and start buying a shitload of properties, because then we'll have everyone set up.
But first, I need to learn some of the shit.
Yeah.
And for those first 5, how much bread do I need? Not the guy. How much?
Yeah. So if you want to go with seller financing, figure easy numbers, 3,000 per door times 5, 15 grand.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, man.
Or if you don't, and you want to use a bank and put more money down, because obviously the more money you put down, the more cash flow you make every month, right?
Yeah.
So if on a $70,000 property, figure $15,000 down times 5, you're at what, $75,000, $60,000 that you would need.
Okay. So it's more cash flow, but less property. Which more important?
For me, it's about unit count. So I would say put less money down and buy more properties, because then you can diversify that with, vacancy risk. So if you have 10 properties and 2 go vacant, you still have a lot of other properties occupied.
So even though I could just go to a bank with the first 5, I should do the seller finance, do it the way you teach.
I mean, that would just allow you to do that. But you can also then get into using other people's money and creating the partnerships like I was talking about. So
with the homies. Yeah. Like, yo, man.
So I know you got some friends with money. So
I got a lot of friends with money.
There you go.
This is super exciting, man. This is super exciting. One question. What about this? You don't never get squatters? That's not a thing?
Not really, because my property managers go through the properties. We assign a certain amount of properties per property manager. So if a tenant goes vacant, or if a unit goes vacant, what we do is we'll secure it. Sometimes we'll even board up the windows until we occupy it with a new tenant, just to make sure that no one comes in. That's happened a couple times. Like I was one time going through with a property manager, and we just smelled this like really terrible smell. Yeah. And we were like, couldn't figure out where it was coming from. We thought something died like in a bathroom or something. And we finally went to the crawl space, literally a crawl space, maybe like 2 feet tall. And there was like a whole ass family living under there, shitting in a Home Depot bucket with a blanket and like a little Bunsen burner, cooking up food down there.
Like I Am Legend, they was living like that,
like post-apocalyptic shit, living under the basement for like probably a few weeks.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so
it was a family. There was
whole
children?
family. No, it was just like 2 adults. And, 2 adults. Yeah, but I think they had kids. They just weren't there.
Okay, yeah.
But you could tell they had clothes and stuff there. There's clothes. There was food. There was water. When we caught them, there was only 2 adults in there.
Oh, so they was just homeless. They was like
they're homeless and squatted. Yeah. They had never been tenants.
They did. Yeah.
Oh no, we don't have tenants that are squatters, because once they're out, the sheriff will kick them out. They'll literally go there and kick them out, and we've had that go down too, and that's always exciting.
The Android users.
Yeah,
man. Android users. I saw some data, man. Because I have some friends who are like dating coaches. And they showed me some data that motherfuckers with Androids get less dates because of the fucking green bug.
Oh yeah.
I used to have an Android when I met my girl. I had 2 phones. I had an Android and I had the iPhone.
Yeah, one for the plug and one for the load.
I ain't got to tell you, man. And and I was using the Android as my personal phone, and then she was like, "Oh, first message." When I meet her, man, she's like, "Oh, you got an Android."
That's a red flag.
Yeah, it's no, we didn't. We didn't start dating until like 2 years later.
Yeah. No, she thought it was a red flag.
She thought it was a red flag. Like, but it's a fucking note. One of the new ones with all the shit.
Yeah. I'm not poor, I promise.
Oh yeah, she would only talk to me on IG.
Okay.
She wouldn't text me. She refused to text me.
Yeah, because you can't send pictures or anything without getting all distorted. Showing up real small.
If I send a video, it's gonna be all fucking. My sister has the Android. She'll send me a video. That shit will look like it was from the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That should look hella digital. You know what I'm saying? I think we got some super chats.
Sure.
Guys, listen, y'all want to learn how to do this shit, because I'm gonna be doing it. Y'all want to do it with me? Click that link. Tom's doing a free class. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna come to the house. We might do it on the boat. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen, and we might do it in the back of the rows. I don't know. And we're gonna do a free training on how to do this. If y'all want to do this with me in 2024, let's go. Hit that link. What's up with the super chats though?
We have elderly tenant. No filter in the Victory podcast. I fuck with it.
Word, man. I'm gonna get your place for you, man. Next year, man. We're gonna find you a home. All right.
There you go.
We have Terrence Anderson II. What's the first few steps to get into the Section 8 game? Any capital needed?
Yeah, he kind of went over it, but he gave us $10, so let's do it.
Yeah, so I would say the first 3 steps. The first step is going to be to identify the best market that you want to invest in, right? The market that you want to look at is going to have properties that are in decent condition. These are properties in the Midwest and the Southeast that there's a bunch of them between $50,000 and $80,000.
You say Midwest, like even Chicago?
Some parts of Chicago, yeah. I mean, Cook County, there's a lot of yeah. There's certain places that work really well. We'll talk about that on the webinar.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that, and then you also want to look at average purchase price. You want to look at average condition there. If you either have the software, that makes things a lot easier. If not, you can just use Zillow or Realtor.com. I use Realtor.com to be able to identify those properties, and then from there, that's the first step. Identify the best market. Then you need to identify the best property. The best property, like I said, 3 to 4 bedrooms, decent shape, that's almost move-in ready. You might have to do some cosmetic stuff to be able to get it to pass inspection.
You don't have to do it. Well, he has to do it. He has to do it.
Well, his property manager's going to. He won't physically go out there and paint a house, right?
It.
You're going to have someone that's going to do that. And like I said, never more than $2,000 or $3,000 in actual repairs to get it ready, right? And generally, it's less than $1,000. I mean, we'll go in there. We might steam the carpets, just to make it presentable. Landscaping and maybe some paint. So that's number 2 is 1, find the best market, 2, find the best property, and then 3 is identify and screen the tenants in the best way. So you want to make sure that there's no crazy felonies. You want to make sure they're not part of a sex offender list. That we run into that as well, where we got all the way to the point where they accepted the voucher, and then we did the background check, and they couldn't live within 200 yards of a school. I was like, fuck,
Damn.
So, yeah. And if you choose the right property with the right tenant, the risk is almost completely mitigated, right? So that's kind of start. As far as the capital needed, like I said, if you do the creative seller finance route, you can get away with $2,500 to $3,000 down on that property, and then maybe $1,000 or $2,000 on getting the property, to pass the Section 8 inspection. So you can figure $5,000 for your first property is a pretty general good bet. $5,000
for your first property,
yeah.
With everything.
Turnkey, to get it ready.
That's not bad, man. That's like way. It's kind of so amazing because it seems like you hear all these things online about how home ownership in general is just.
Oh yeah, because no one thinks outside the box, right? Everyone's just like, oh, I got to put 20% down. Oh, I want to go buy this property, but it's $1 million. Well, yeah, because everyone's trying to buy in these very, inflated, bloated markets right now. But what smart investors do is they'll go and buy 10 properties, 5 properties with very little money down, take that monthly cash flow, and then use that to pay off the primary residence that you live in.
Yeah.
If you get 10 houses and they're each cash flowing $500 per month, that's $5,000 a month passive.
Yeah.
Which you can either use that to go buy more properties, or you can go use that to whatever you want.
Do whatever you want with it. It's passive income.
$5,000 a month is $1 million mortgage,
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yo.
But everyone goes backwards. They try to buy the $1 million house first using active income.
Yeah.
And they lose their active income. Then they're fucked on their $1 million
then
house.
they're screwed.
And they have no assets to be able to, do that. So
yeah, and then you get the tax benefits from real estate.
Tax benefits, appreciation. Cash flow. I mean,
you can take loans against it.
Take loans against it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always saw the benefits of real estate. It's just I was just reluctant to get into it because I can buy stocks and shit from my phone, right?
That's true. And I mean, the only reason I never got into stocks is because I like the control of it, right?
Yeah.
I like to be able to go touch a property if I want to. Yeah. I can control who's living in it. I can control how much we charge in rent. I can control everything.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why I got into it.
But no, like I know, like according to my accountant, I need to find ways to save on taxes.
Exactly. And you can do cost analysis on these properties to be able to reduce the overall tax burden that you have.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So this is, I'm super excited to get into this year.
Man.
I'm gonna go super hard.
There we
when
go.
I go for something, I go super hard.
There we
Everybody
go.
know that. All right. Cool. That shout out to you, Tara Sanderson, the third. Oh, what else? The second. That's even better.
DL Saint, I really want to know podcast with $50.
All right. My man's name is a sentence. All right, what's up?
Salute to you, brother. Do you plan to have an in-person event in 2024? I'm in Miami all the time. I would definitely support. I dig the content. Keep leading from the front, brother.
Yeah, man. Tom's gonna let me run it on his boat, man. We already.
There you go. So it's Colin. He wanted to do his mastermind on the boat too.
Nah,
business purpose.
Colin wanted to do it on the boat.
Yeah.
Maybe I used to do a lot of in-person events before COVID, and then I stopped when the fucking, when everything stopped. Then I started making more money without doing events. So I didn't go back into it. But I might do it again just because. You know what I'm saying? All right. But shout out to you, DL Saint from the Block Podcast.
We have perfect shot filming. Know
right.
any luxury agents that need drone videos?
Oh, this guy. Okay. This guy, he talked before he's starting. He's a videographer and he's looking for. He asked, "Does I want to start a business where I do drone videos for real estate agents? How you think that'll work?" I was like, "Motherfucker, I don't know." Right, but what do you think? You know more. Would that work for this motherfucker?
I don't know this motherfucker particularly. So I don't know.
Well,
exactly.
Motherfuckers in general.
So for me, man, just from a macro level, I think that any business like that requires you to exchange your time for money and go out to a property and do that. I think it's great for active income if you're using that to reinvest into real estate or to whatever you want to do that's going to actually create a passive income for you. I think that's great. But if you want to create a whole business around that, you're creating a job for yourself that you can't quit, because you're gonna have to continue to go and trade time for hours to go deal with real estate agents on Saturdays and you know during your time off to go shoot drone footage for a few $100. So I think if you're passionate about it and you enjoy it,
if you just love
it,
aerial video footage,
then I think that's a great idea, because then won't even be like you're really working. But if you're just thinking that's just going to be like a good business idea that you're then have to go and sell yourself, there's a million real estate agents. I think it's kind of saturated. I mean, when I bought my house, we probably had like 5 different drone footage videos for that house. So
Oh, so you did pay somebody to do the
no, the seller had paid for it.
Seller
had property.
So they did pay. So
there's definitely demand for it. Yeah. So I think if you're wanting to do it as a business, especially, is he in Miami? I don't know. Yeah, then
I don't know if
it depends on where you're at too, right? So if you're in Miami, I'm sure the market's huge for drone photography. But if you're in,
how would he find the agents? I guess he got to figure out. See, here's the thing, man. Tell me this is true. This is what I've seen. You know more about real estate than me. I don't think a lot of these girls who say they're real estate agents on Instagram are really. He started laughing at me already. I don't think they're really real estate agents, man. I think they're prostitutes.
I don't know exactly their backgrounds, but I have every girl that I've met in Miami has a license. License.
But they're never selling houses.
Yeah,
you never see them like showing proproperties.
They're not exactly top producers. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's just like a front. You never know, right?
I think it's a front. Like, check it out. Here's my theory. I've heard that when you do crime, you got to have like something up front so the IRS thinks you're making some legitimate money. This is what I've heard. However, let's say you got to also tell your friends and family you're doing something. Real estate agent.
That's exactly it. And it's really too. But the thing that you're not considering is if you have a Thot repellent, it doesn't matter what their role is. You can just spray that on and you'll be good.
So brother, you don't need some Thot. When you meet these real estate agents, you gotta like be wearing a Thot repellent. And if she starts like convulsing like a fucking dying roach,
you already know what it is.
Then you are, oh man, she's not a real estate. I've been bamboozled. I've been led astray. Yeah, that's the thing. You guys started laughing immediately. This is just a working hypothesis, but listen, Victory Unit. I want you guys.
It's like OnlyFans girls are accountants, right?
Yeah. No, I'm an accountant. No, but really, they either prostitutes or maybe they got sugar daddies, which is like prostitution as well to a certain extent, right? They're doing something that they're
not proud of.
Yeah, if they had a father, he wouldn't be proud of. Do we got another one?
Frosty 300. Is the Beehive newsletter boost feature profitable?
It's too early for us to tell. He's talking about the newsletter that y'all need to join is Big Money Methods, and we host it on Beehive. It's me and the homies writing about getting money, making moves, getting money, shit that help you get money, make money, invest money, grow money. All right. Oh, there's another one.
And we got Terrence back. He says, "Thanks. I'm signing up for the course now. Right now in car sales, market is changing drastically."
Hey, get into it, man. And if you got some bread, it'll be like an easy transition into something.
Definitely.
Or at least just or nothing else. You can keep working your job if you want, right? And just start making investments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you got to use the jobs as a means to an end, right? To be able to use that active income to start building something.
Yeah, 100%.
Otherwise, people just get stuck in that same 9 to 5 forever and wake up at 7 and they're like, fuck.
You got to start building passive income in some capacity. And this is like one of the only methods I've never done. And that's why I'm glad we finally met. And I'm so excited to get started. Hit that link if y'all want to join. We're doing a free class. I'm going to be right there taking notes on the yacht. And All right, listen, Tom. I see your content online
Sure.
blowing up, and you flexing hard on the
Sometimes.
haters, and I love that shit. You know me, man. Like
It's my favorite activity.
Yeah, flexing on the haters, stunning on the hoes. That's what I do. You know, but you're single, right?
I am. Yeah.
So what's that like, man? Flexing that hard, being seen. Like I deliberately made sure I had a girlfriend when I moved down here and imported her. I literally brought sand to the beach in Miami because me amor, mi novia, you know what I'm saying? Mucho culo grande.
Yeah.
And but you are single. What's that like, man, being super fucking rich? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. There's definitely more options, and it's just a lot of filtering, right? As far as being able to decide, who's in it for the right reasons. And it's pretty easy. I mean, here, if they're doing something with their lives, I've been on Bumble and Hinge and, kind of gone out with, on different dates. And if the first thing they say is like, oh, what car are you picking me up in? And then I'll ask them like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm like unemployed right now. Or I'm like a real estate agent. And they never sold a house. So it's pretty easy to determine, who's in it for the right reasons, at least in Miami, right?
Yeah.
It's if they're doing something with their lives, then it's like worth to go. If they're motivated, if they're ambitious, if they're hot, all really important things. So when people ask me like, how do you, watch out for the gold diggers? Like they're not slick, it's not a difficult task. I mean, I've gone out with girls that were like partners at their law firm and then, could do any date that I took them on themselves. But it's just, I don't know. That's kind of in the first few months, it was so much fun. Like we went to all the clubs and kind of got that out of my system in Miami. I lived in the middle of Brickell here in SLS Lux.
I made sure I didn't move to Brickell.
Oh yeah. No, I love that. 'Cause, I mean, I met a bunch of people. It was super fun.
All my friends who are single are like, oh, you need to move to Brickell.
Yeah. I mean, really the only difference with money and dating is you can just do more exotic stuff.
Yeah.
Like if we go on a really cool date and then we want to do something else, like, oh, do you want to get drinks on the yacht and we'll go to Kiki's, we can do that.
Pull up to okay.
Kiki's on the river,
You pull up in the yacht to Kiki's.
Oh, yeah. That's a go-to spot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's another level.
Because they've all been there by land, but they've never been there by
sea.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They've never been there by river.
Exactly. So if they, if it's a good fit, then we'll go and do that. So, but I'm not exactly private about my situation. So they already
they know what they're getting.
Yeah. No, it's very appropriate.
I'm starting ready for sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's the most direct way of doing it.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna make the same alarm clock.
Yeah. So, did you learn all this on your own? Did you study books? Did you have mentors?
So for me, it was all trial and error. I mean, I knew that I was going to get rich from like middle school, man. I remember watching The Apprentice with my parents and asking them like how these guys were getting rich. And to them, it's the traditional, like, oh, they all have their MBAs and like they're all, doing business because they all have their MBAs. So, but I mean, I was selling Pokemon cards in middle school, dude. I was, selling Beanie Babies back then. I had a paintball gun company. I sold paintball guns online. All that stuff
all through
middle school, high school, and then in college.
I too sold things in school.
There you go. It's a very different.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I understand.
But at the end of the day, it's the same concept. Like I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know that A, it would happen this fast because I'm 35, and then B, that real estate would be the path that I took.
You didn't even know that would be the path.
No.
What made you pick real estate as opposed to, because you seem like a pretty sharp guy. You could have went in.
Dude, I fell into it by accident. Like I said, I bought the first condo to live in, and then I bought a big dog. I bought a Doberman Pinscher as a pet. And then the apartment complex is like, you can't have it. And I had just bought this apartment, this condo at the time. So I ended up getting another place so I could have my dog. And this is after 2008. So like everything was in the gutter. I was upside down in my condo. So I was like, shit. So I ended up renting it. And I was renting it. I rented it for $500 more than my mortgage. And here I was, doing like marketing stuff. I did marketing in college.
Yeah, it's me, same thing.
Okay. Yeah, web design, SEO, and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I don't have to talk to this tenant. I get paid automatically on the first of every month. And it wasn't even Section 8. It was just a really good tenant.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my aha moment. I was like, I got to keep buying these. And that's where I got into wholesaling. And it was just a rabbit, hole of stuff.
Now, why not? I think I know you're going to answer this question.
Yeah.
But why not do like Airbnb shit? Because I thought about that at one point.
I mean, I did. I tried Airbnb. I've tried every real estate strategy you can think
Yeah.
of. So I don't like Airbnb because it's a lot more expensive. It's much higher barrier to entry. You got to buy the furniture. You have to buy. You can't buy in C-class neighborhoods. Like these like cheaper neighborhoods. No one wants to rent their Airbnb on vacation. There.
Nobody wants to be Airbnb in the hood.
So it's very seasonal. You're constantly dealing with different Airbnb fees and policies and regulations. Section 8 is a federal program. It's been here for 60 years. It's been the exact same shit. The only thing that changes is the rent that goes up every year. So I wanted a guaranteed. If your Airbnb property is vacant, you're just fucked. Yeah. If you have a bad month, that mortgage is still going to come due.
And you in the hospitality business.
You're in the hospitality business.
I never wanted to be in the hospitality business.
The management's more expensive. Yeah. Like furnishing the property. The wear and tear is way higher. Yeah. People are coming in and out of the property every day. So that's just the main reason why I didn't do Airbnb. Same thing with fix and flips. I fixed and flipped probably 3 houses. Yeah. The amount of time and involvement with contractors and subs, it's just like a joke. Yeah. So I found that Section 8 was kind of the best of all worlds. Yeah. Obviously, there's downsides. You're dealing with a lower quality tenant in general. You have to screen them a lot more aggressively. You have to contend with inspections, and sometimes they can, nitpick. And I've had a property just have like, certain parts where the sun doesn't hit. There might be like algae growth or something on the vinyl. I don't know if you've ever seen properties that just have like or growth there.
I never lived in a house my whole life.
Okay, well then you go. You may not see it, but they just made us power wash it. It had no effect on the property at all, just cosmetic. And they're like, yeah, you got to power wash that. I would have never done that with a regular tenant. So there are some drawbacks, but when you look at it holistically, my best year ever in real estate was in 2020. No tenants moved out because of the pandemic, and they continued paying me.
That's amazing.
So I'd never had any turnover costs. I never had to fix or repair a unit, any of that stuff, because no one moved out. Yeah. So yeah.
Is it better for houses or apartments?
I prefer houses. Yeah. Single family properties. They, like I said, they get higher rents from Section 8. Exactly.
Okay. So that means higher profit for you.
Higher profit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's dope, man. And it's you have them like are you in every state?
No, I'm only in 4 states.
4 states. What 4 states?
North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Ohio.
Why'd you pick those?
I lived in North Carolina when I started, and then as I saw prices go up, I started in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area, and then after that, I got into Tennessee. They're all just boarding states, so if I had to go there for any reason, it was a quick trip.
Oh, because you lived?
Yeah, I lived in North Carolina. So then Ohio, just because of the market there. There's certain areas that worked well.
Right, and why not Florida?
Florida has higher property taxes. It also has a lot of trailer parks, which work on Section 8, but I didn't want to get into that. Yeah, and just certain markets in the Midwest that just work better. All right.
Okay, that's interesting. So when we start doing this, it's gonna be all remote. These other states.
Oh yeah, we're not buying in Florida.
Not buying. In Florida.
Yeah, we're not buying in Miami or Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Not at all.
I think I see another super chat. Alejandro Guerrero. Yep.
Alejandro Guerrero says, is it a good time to rent an apartment or own a house? Wanting to invest in property, but don't want to risk much for none since I'm still trying to get certified for a field I'm in.
I think he means like to live in.
Yeah. Is it a good time to rent an apartment or own a house?
Yeah, so I mean that varies on a million factors, but I mean right now people would be like, oh, interest rates are high, don't buy. My general consensus is that there's never going to be a perfect time to buy a house. If interest rates go down, which they probably will next year, then there's going to be a lot more competition. Prices are going to go back up. Yeah. There's never going to be a scenario where you're going to have cheap houses, low interest rates, and low competition, right? You're always going to be.
There's always a
so for me, I've been buying all through all this stuff. It does not matter what's going on. I've just been buying. I don't care if there's war in Ukraine. I don't care if there's conflicts. I don't care if there's inflation. I just keep buying my properties every single month. Yeah. Because the only thing that's consistent is the government's going to continue paying for it.
Come on.
Exactly.
Now, I think he was talking about to live in himself.
Yeah, to live in himself. In my opinion, I would be buying a property. I would be building equity in the property. And when interest rates come down, you can just refinance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to be buying a property or renting a property, you're basically just dumping that money every single month, right?
Yeah. That's what
the only advantage to renting is going to be you have the mobility. You can get up and move anytime.
Bounce.
Exactly. So it just really depends on what you're planning. If you're going to be there for a long time, buy it. If you're planning just test, I rented here for 6 months when I moved to Miami, but I knew that I was going to buy, right?
I always think about that, and it's like when I moved here first, I wanted to see if I was going to like Miami. I guess kind of like you. And then I renewed the lease because I was like, man, I don't want to. If I move again, it's going to be the last time. Okay. And I just wasn't really ready for the kind of crib I wanted. I looked at the opportunity cost of that 20%. I was like, man, I could flip that shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's like,
But at some
now I'm just
point-
thinking at some, I'm gonna do it. Obviously. I'm not gonna,
At some
but-
point, you're gonna hit that level of success. It's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you
where
know?
it doesn't matter. Damn, man. Look at this motherfucker. It's rare that a motherfucker can humble me with money, man, right? Like that shit don't happen often. But this is one of those. This is one of those situations.
There we go.
My man making about almost $1 million a month passive. And I'm about to learn how to.
There we go.
Even though it's going, I know it took years, right? But I got time, man.
Yeah, but you also have way more
money.
money than when I started,
Yeah, I got
so
some bread.
you can
I got some
definitely escalate that quickly.
You know what I'm saying? So like if y'all want to learn too, we're doing a class the Monday after next. I'm gonna be there, me, Tom, and you. Click the link.
Let's get it.
And then we're gonna go deep into it. Pause. All right. Was there another one? Oh, Hustle Man.
Hustle Man has been in the streets
Yeah.
all his life, but wants to get out and be
Yeah.
successful. Any advice? He tried jobs, but it never works.
Yeah, well, listen, man, might have something to do with it. The icon of using Kush life. Like maybe, listen, Hustle Man, get off the drugs. Knock it off. Probably why you can't maintain a job, man. I'm being serious, man. You too high, Kush, man. You too high. Maybe some people are functioning weed addicts, but it seems to be impeding your progress and your mobility. Hustle, man. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. Because this is not a man who just likes to smoke weed every once in a while. It's Kush life. He lives this shit. He don't just smoke recreationally with the homies. No, man. He lives this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You got any advice for Hustle Man?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've turned many drug dealers into real estate investors.
Yeah, you about to do it.
They'll send me pictures of a bunch of cash in a shoebox and be like, how do I make this? How do I flip this?
Yeah.
And the number one way to do it is wholesaling, because if I go to you as a homeowner, you're gonna be way more open to accepting actual cash that hasn't been laundered through the bank or anything or any other business. So at that point, obviously you're gonna have to open a bank account, but it's just a way they've kind of gone legit.
Yeah,
is turning that drug money into real estate money.
Listen, we can listen. Listen, man. This can be like we can go.
Yeah, because you can pay for cash. Yeah,
we can go reform the fucking hood, motherfuckers. Man, the deal.
Buy back the block.
Yeah, man.
Not buying it back.
Listen, Hustle Man. We got a fucking strategy for you, man. You can't keep a job to save your life. We know that. You know what I'm saying? You're addicted to the Kush. You're a man who you committed to a life of Kush. That's clear. You've made that clear. Now we need you to commit to a life of balling. You know what I'm saying? Tom and I are going to show you how, Hustle Man. We're here for you. Okay. All right, let's get serious. I mean, I was serious.
There you go.
Wait a minute. Tell me more about your students though. Like, you know, of course we got a bunch of drug dealers, right, who have went legit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got them to stop distributing drugs amongst the community. Now, but tell me about some other success stories you have. I've heard a lot of them, but I want you to tell me.
Yeah, as far as students that we work with, I mean, for the most part, it's all over the span as far as age. It's mostly people that have money that they have no idea how to deploy, right?
Yeah.
So they work a 9 to 5, they have $10, $15, $20,000 saved up. They're sick of going to that 9 to 5, but they have no idea where to put it. Yeah. Because right now you get on TikTok and everyone's telling you, do Amazon dropshipping, do stocks, do Forex.
Dropshipping is the worst. Like, you motherfuckers want to dropship, you want to sell fucking. This dropshipping is selling Chinese bullshit to old people. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take them fucking 8 weeks to get the shit, and you're going to get your Facebook ad account disabled.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really all over the place. I have 18-year-olds buying properties.
18-year-olds?
Oh yeah, because you can sign a contract, right? So people right out of high school putting properties under contract under an LLC, and then using wholesaling to start funding that. That's the number one way of doing it. So I also have 70-year-old, elderly people that have a bunch of money in pension, or, they sold the company. So it's really kind of all walks of life. And there's not that much time involved. I mean, you're spending maybe 3 or 4 hours a week looking at properties, making offers through email. So it's not like
that's for the wholesaling.
Yeah, for finding property, or even for buying rentals.
What kind of time? Let's say, okay, for wholesaling, you said 2 to 3 hours a week.
No, for wholesaling, I would say closer to 3 to 5 hours because you're going to be
3 to 5
looking,
hours.
unless you're driving for dollars and you're spending a lot more time looking for it, right?
Mhm.
So it doesn't require that much time because a lot of it you can just do on your computer.
Yeah.
If you're able to find these properties using like an app like Deal Machine, you identify it, you call them or email them, you know, and be able to reach out to them directly, put a property under contract, and then let's say you already have some buyers or you go join a Facebook group that already has real estate investors. You're just doing this all on your phone. Yeah, so you don't even need a computer to do it. Really, you can just do it on your phone.
Okay, now what about investing? How much time like that?
That I would say takes a little bit more time
Yeah.
because it depends on how many properties you want to buy too. So if you're looking to buy 3 or 4 properties per month, you're going to have to be making probably 20 or 30 offers. In order to make 20 or 30 offers, you probably need to look at 50 houses, right?
Yeah.
And even if you're doing it from out of state, you still need to be able to look at these properties online. You need to talk to your real estate agent. You need to do FaceTime walkthroughs of the property. There's just a lot more involved when you're doing it that way.
So and you buy how many properties?
I buy anywhere from 8 to 10 properties per month.
Woo.
Yeah.
You're not fucking around, Tom.
I mean, I used to buy a lot more. Right now, my main focus, like I said, is just value add and being able to just focus on quality. Yeah. I don't buy any large portfolios anymore. I bought a 100-unit portfolio in 2018.
You bought someone's portfolio?
100 units.
Holy shit.
Yeah. For $6.3 million. And then I bought my partner out, kept them, and kept growing.
Oh, so your partner put up the cash?
He put $1 million down.
He put $1 million down. Oh, okay. And that was the whole down.
That was the whole down
There
payment.
was no money out of pocket.
I didn't put any money out of
because
pocket.
you had the track record.
I had the track record.
And you knew the partner.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He was part of my Cars and Coffee Club. So we saw each other every Saturday or once a Saturday every month.
And then you refinanced it.
And then I refinanced it, and we refinanced it for 9.25. Because I mean, on 100 units, once you occupy them with Section 8, they increase a lot. So then I pulled the equity. We only owed it was 6.3 million purchase. We put $1 million down, so I owed 5.3 at the time of refinance. I think we owed right at 5. Refinanced it for 9, pulled the equity out, paid him out. I kept like $500,000, and then I kept all the properties by myself.
Oh shit! So you pay, and the property was still cash flowing.
Still cash flowing. Oh yeah.
Even though you put
even though I cashed out refi. Yeah.
You put $500,000. And how much did you pay him?
He got, I think, like 25%. So he got his $1 million back plus I think another 300,000.
And how much time?
2 years.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So from 2018 to 2020.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that, like a 15% return each year?
Yeah. So for him, it was going to be mostly about he wanted to be hands off. He just wanted to
He
write the
didn't want to
check.
do nothing.
Yeah. He lived in North Carolina. I was buying. I bought these in Wilmington, New Hanover County. So they wrote like an article and everything about it. It was pretty fun. Yeah,
Nice.
So that's cool.
Oh, that's super dope. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is exciting. It's exciting, Tom. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready
Thanks,
to learn. I think Hustle Main came back with another question, man.
Yes, we have another super chat from Hustle Man. He said,
All right.
"Thanks for your reply. The Kush has been paying the bills for 25 years, but I want to switch.
Okay, and I feel
How
you.
can I get into real estate with 10K? Just
Oh, man,
signed up with
He signed up for the class. Well, we're gonna put you on the right path, player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going to talk it step by step. I'm going to explain exactly how to do it with no credit and with only $2,500 down on that class. And I'm going to talk about the best areas to buy the properties in. And I'm going to do a free $1,000 cash giveaway too.
You're gonna give it $1,000?
Yeah, to a random attendee.
To a random attendee is gonna get $1,000.
There you go.
So you better make sure you show up. Yo, Hustle Man, we're gonna get you out the streets.
There you go.
We're gonna get you out the streets, brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hustle on a high. We're gonna elevate your hustle. You know what I'm saying? Get you like doing something legal, because that illegal shit, man, you get arrested. That I've never been convicted of a crime.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I've never been convicted of a crime. But I would imagine being incarcerated would impede your hustle. You know what I'm saying? What? I lost my focus.
That's fine.
This is exciting, man. This is exciting. Yeah. Tell me about your most successful student.
My most successful student is this guy named Jackson. He's in Florida actually, but he's buying out of state. And he's 26 and he bought 250 properties in his first like 18 months in real estate.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And he did it through seller financing. What he did was he wrote a bunch of letters, physical letters. Yeah, not email, not text or anything. And he just sent it to landlords that he found online.
Yeah.
Ideally like absentee landlords, people that own properties, but they weren't in the same city or state. And there's lists that you can buy like this. So then he found this guy that was willing to seller finance him 95% of the deal. So he only had to come up with 5% of the deal. So he didn't have the 5% either because he was 26 and broke. So he found a hard money lender, basically bank, but not an institution.
Yeah.
And then he funded the whole thing 100%. So the homeowner or the investor held 95% of it.
Yeah.
And then the hard money lender brought the other 5% and stayed in the second position. And then he found 100% of the deal. He didn't put $1 of his own money into
that was his first deal.
That was his first deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So he hit a home run. I told him not to do it. I was like, dude, there's gonna be a lot of properties in there that you're gonna need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you're gonna go big or go home, right? So he bought, I think it was like 100 and some properties first, and then he bought another portfolio from the same guy and ended up with like 250 units.
Wow.
Yeah. So it worked out really well for him.
That's
just, I mean, it's just creative. I didn't even teach him that part. Like as far as handwriting a letter.
Who did that?
No.
How much was he cash flowing at? Do you know?
On 250 units, it was relatively low. I think it was around $300 per door.
Okay.
The main reason being is, I mean, there's a lot of leverage being used,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. But most of them were actually in pretty good shape. After he did the inspections and stuff, I think there might have been like 15 or 20 properties, maybe like 10 or 15% of the units that needed more work than he expected. But all he did was took the cash flow from the other 230 that were doing well and then used that to repair them. So now this was like a couple of years ago. So now he's doing really well.
All right. And you said the average, if you following your methods, the average cash flow is about 500.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just depending on how much money you
And,
make.
and I mean, if all the properties were moving ready, he'd be making $400 or $500 per month.
Wow. Wow. That's super dope, man.
Yeah.
That's super dope. He was only 26.
He's 26. Yeah.
And he had no money. He just fucking had
he
hustle.
had graduated college a few years prior. He was working like some 9-to-5 office job. And then we started working together and he started wholesaling.
He had a job.
He had a job. Yeah. He wasn't completely indigent.
So this sounds like it's a really good side hustle for somebody who has a job.
Yeah, it definitely is, because then they have money that they can actually, use as a down payment, like $2,500 or $3,000. And then you can also use that to continue to accelerate your growth to get to that 3 to 5 units. Then you can build that track record and to bring other money in if you want, or you can, get 20 units, pick up your, $20,000 a month or $10,000 a month, however much you want to make from it. And go from there. Shit. And then you can refinance, pull the equity out, reinvest, do it all over again.
Yeah. So like this is like super dope. And I'm sorry. So much is going through my head, man. It's difficult for me to think about this, Then we got another super chat.
Culture Clips. He's 26. He or she, 26, 1K saved, living check to check, advice.
Oh, man. Well, listen, join the webinar. You know what I'm saying? Join the free training and check it out, but he's probably going to have to get his active income up.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2023, man. There's a million ways to make money online. I mean, go be an NPC on
bro.
TikTok.
What?
Yeah, go be an NPC on TikTok. I mean,
people are doing this shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways where you can get $3,000 or $4,000 over the next couple months and be able to save it to get started.
I don't want to hear about none of these guys.
Yeah, being 26 and being able to buy it.
Fucking mad.
Yeah. So that I can't really get behind. I mean, you could start wholesaling if you want to start buying properties and flipping them.
Get some bread, bro.
Yeah.
Get a fucking job, man. Like, if you live check, so you got a job, man. Start working more. Like,
there's just a lot of other side hustles that you can do when you get home, and I think most people get stuck in that same vicious cycle of go home, get tired, and then not, watching Netflix, sleeping, rinsing, and repeating, and then just never get out of that cycle. So
drive an Uber or some shit. He's 26. You probably don't have a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you should be getting after it. Like right, you should really be getting after it. No bullshit. Like when I was your age, when I was this motherfucker's age, Tom. It was like right. My father had like killed himself when I was 24, and then I had to figure shit out because I had to take care of the whole family. I started waking up at 4, training people in the morning. Then I would fucking work security at the Prada store in Soho, and then I would work for my boys' moving company after. Right, this is during the recession. This is 08. There was motherfuckers with master's degrees working at Starbucks and shit. Right, so and then that was like 5 days a week, and on the weekends I would work. I would train people in the morning and work at my boys' barbecue restaurant as like the weekend manager. Like I wasn't gonna sit around and be fucking broke, man. And I made $100K both those years. It was a lot of hard work, But I had some bread after that to deploy against my goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you gotta stop fucking around, Culture Clips, right? Like if you need to work more so you have more money after you shouldn't be living check to check, man. You a young man.
Or just get a real estate license. become an agent.
Yeah, no. I mean, it seems to work, man. Every chick just starts.
Yeah, and they're all doing super well.
I mean, as soon as they start doing real estate, man, they got Birkins and shit. They're flying private. I'm like, yo, I can't even justify flying private most of the time. I can't wrap my head around it, man. But these chicks, man, they start selling real estate, and then they on private jets.
That's the way it goes.
I seen it happen. It's funny how life works. Was that? Oh, then we got another super chat.
We have Brian Miller with 13. How do you manage renting multiple properties without property managers? As most property managers don't care about your property unless you own 10 plus properties.
Yeah, it's a great question. So you don't manage the properties without property managers. You have to get a property manager there quickly. And property management companies, if you vet them correctly and you screen them, they will care because they know that you're going to continue to buy more properties. So either use referrals. A lot of times the real estate agent that you're working with also does property management. So we found a lot of good, management that way. And then once you do get 10 or 15 properties, now you can afford a full-time property manager that works just for you and takes care just of your properties. So that's another big advantage of getting multiple units, because then you can build that cash flow to then afford $4,000 a month for a property manager. And each property manager can handle 90 properties. 90.
He works full-time.
If he works full-time for you, one property manager, they'll normally break at around 100 units.
Is a property manager like a super in an apartment building?
That's basically, I mean, they'll show the unit, they'll let, give you the keys, they'll do the lease paperwork, they'll call, they handle all the maintenance. So yeah, I mean, it's really important to get a property manager early. That was my biggest mistake, and something I would do over is if I were to start over, I would have had a property manager from day one. I waited for dozens of properties. I was self-managing for like the first 20 some properties.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, and then I just one day woke up and I had like 5 missed calls from tenants, and I was like, I can't do this, because it took me away from my acquisitions. I couldn't continue to buy properties because I was spending so much time with tenants.
Fuck that.
Yeah. But I mean, it was nice because I learned a lot, but that's really where it ended. For like a year and a half, that's all I did.
And you only pay them 10% of the rent, right?
Yeah. So it's really cheap.
Yeah.
With a property management company. When you get your own property manager, obviously you just pay him a full-time salary.
You pay him more, but he cares more once you get to that point.
Oh yeah. And if he just works just for you, because in a sense he is kind of right. Like, let's say you're the property management company and I'm a new investor and I bring you one property. You might not put as much emphasis on getting that one property rented out as fast versus, your friend that has 50 units with a property management company. They're going to give them priority, which does happen, but it's just a matter of keeping them in check. If you pay attention to them, it's like, hey, it's been 2 weeks. How many tenants do we have, right? Oh, we haven't started marketing it. Okay, cool. You either rent it out or we're just going to find somebody else. Yeah. So a lot of times they will react to that. It's all based on reputation and word of mouth for these local, property management companies.
Yeah. So you don't, but to his first question, you don't want to do that shit on your own.
No, you don't. It's miserable. It's the worst job ever. Yeah. I would never wish that on my worst nightmare.
Why do people do it?
I don't know. Some people enjoy it. Some people have no other.
People do all types of jobs.
Yeah, they'll do all types of jobs. Some people just like dealing with tenants and communicating. And I don't know. They're people. Yeah, it's not for me. I'm not a people person.
I feel you, man. Yo, listen, guys. I'm about to embark on this real estate journey, section 8. Man, we're gonna buy back the block.
There we go. Like Rose said.
And and Tom's gonna be mentoring me. If you would like to learn this shit too, we're doing a free training on the Monday after next. The link's in the description. Make sure you sign up. Tom said he's giving away $1,000 to a random person.
Oh yeah,
call, man. It might be you. You got any parting words for the homies, man?
No, man. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. Thank you so much,
man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's been another episode of the Victory Talk podcast. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday.
One more.
Oh, we got one more. Somebody came in at the fucking buzzer beater. What up?
I'm a Wow. I'm a contractor myself, doing remodels and home improvement. Would fix and flips be ideal for me, or start with wholesaling?
In my opinion, I would do wholesaling. It's a lot more scalable. You're not just working and hoping just one property pans out. You can buy multiple property, or you can put multiple properties under contract while you're wholesaling. And the advantage that you have as a contractor is what things should cost. So you'll know what the after repair values are going to be. And then you can say, so if you find a property that is listed for 70 grand, you put it under contract for 60,000. And now you can go to, someone that's actually fixing and flipping houses and say, hey, look, this is can be worth 90,000 if and hell, you can even take the job. If you're a general contractor, you can do the work for them after you make your assignment fee. So you can kind of hit it on both sides. So If I were you, I would wholesale properties very quickly, and then use that to start buying rental properties. The end goal, in my opinion, should be buying rental properties.
Yeah. That should be the goal, because that's really passive income.
Exactly.
Everything else is active income.
That's just Airbnb, Burr, all that stuff is
Airbnb. I don't want to be a fucking
hotel host.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. You're in the fucking hospitality business, man. I ain't that hospitable. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. I'll see y'all next week. Let's go.